What's up, guys? How are you? How's everything? Listen, I want to talk real quick because I'm really getting absolutely frustrated and absolutely annoyed about the whole situation with the Game Awards, okay? I've been saying this since 2013. I came in on the scene by myself. No one knew who I was until I started doing things with certain people and getting to know people within the gaming space. And I've always said that no gamer, okay, no gamer cares about Metacritic scores, about magazine scores, or about Game Awards, okay? First and foremost, I don't understand why so many people in the community even care and let it bother you so much. I don't get it. I don't get why y'all let it bother you. The gaming community never used to speak out at all. Very little did, as far as what was going on, the bullcrap, the bias, the taxing, as they want to call it now, right? I said from the very beginning that Microsoft games would get shunned, shielded, because there were a lot of great games that they had from the very beginning, like, a Recore or like a Rise, Son of Rome, right? Which people were popping off, talking crap when they were great games, and a lot of them were launch games, right, for what they were. And Dead Rising 3, for example, great fucking games that nobody cared, that wouldn't get looked at, that wouldn't be nominated. Only games that would keep getting nominated would be either Nintendo games or PlayStation games. And I'm going to keep it real with you guys. All the people now that are speaking, or a big majority that are Xbox fans, trying to say something, y'all were a bunch of cowards. Y'all had nothing to say. Y'all were all afraid because when Microsoft was not the leading platform in 2013 and going forward, and all it was making fun of Xbox. Xbox is no good. It looks like a fat VCR, which even how the console looked was a concept, right? Even though no one ever said anything about PlayStation, when the PS3 era, the fucking PlayStation 3 looked like a goddamn cockroach, right? Or a big ass heater. And now you got the air purifier in the fucking PS5, right? And nobody cared. Nobody ever said nothing. Xbox guys in particular, we never cared. We never made fun of it because that wasn't a point of argument or contention or even an actual point of conversation. A console and how it looked doesn't mean shit. It's the type of console quality games that it had to offer, and if it was worth owning, right, or even feature sets. Who gives a fuck what a console looks like? Who cares? The Nintendo 64 was one of the ugliest consoles of all time, the Atari Jaguar. But it had good games and good stuff and good features and good ideas, right? Where some of them were successful and some of them were not. But I'm going to be honest with you. A big majority of the gaming community and the Xbox community, with the exception of people, I hate to say it, but Next Gen was the only one that had the cojones at the time with Mr. 100 or Showstopper, even, Tim Dog, and at the time War Reward and fucking Crap Gamer, which all of them, obviously with time they just had to worry about the bag. But guys like that, right, and Sega Forever and Sega Man, right, those are the only type of guys that were calling out the bullshit. While everybody else was, Xbox gotta do better, Xbox this, Xbox that. They were afraid to speak. So now, because Microsoft is doing better and is really not, they have changed the narrative about them being, not a player within the gaming space. Now, right? Now, everybody wants to be an Xbox defender. Now, everybody wants to be, an Xbox, quote unquote, hype beast or supporter, right? Meanwhile, when E-Rock and I, myself, right, or somebody like 100 did, We were called lunatics. We were called fanboys. We were called crazy. People said that we were stupid and we didn't know what we was talking about. Look, like we pointed out long ago, and I said this long ago, the Game Awards are supposed to be something that's supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be a fun moment to celebrate, almost like a Super Bowl for games, just like E3, right? It's supposed to be fun because it's the excitement of seeing new trailers for new upcoming games, seeing what games got nominated that came out through the course of that year, right? And also seeing the hidden gems that made a mark, right? Or unexpected announcements. That's what the Game Awards is supposed to be about. That's where it was supposed to be embraced, right? And then Jeff Keighley somehow, since he became the only person within the industry that started at G4 to establish relationships, started to earn a bunch of sponsorships, right, with a bunch of other different people within the industry, whether they're musicians, whether they're movie studios, whatever the case. He was very smart in doing that and establishing relationships, right? And what he's done through the years is made sure that he got a lot of people on his side to come and perform and embrace the industry and celebrate it, quote unquote, according to him. But yet, you never see Jeff Keighley playing video games. You never see Jeff Keighley putting up gameplay of new games. And every time he did put up anything on social media, like Twitter, it was either sucking on Kojima or something that PlayStation did. Whether it was that they made new luggage, that they send them new sneakers, that they're creating a new console, or the release of a new game. But you never actually seen him play these new games, ever. So this guy is more about the business aspect as far as presenting it, but he really is not a gamer that plays. I would be surprised to see what his gamer score looked like, or or his trophies on the PlayStation. I would not be surprised if it's not really high, because he's gonna take the claim of, I'm busy, I'm always doing stuff year round, getting the world ready for the Game Awards, right? But the problem with Jeff Keighley is, since he's the one that owns it and runs it, right? He set up a committee in the Game Awards, right? That is a bunch of his homies from different outlets that are a bunch of PlayStation and Nintendo shills, right? So if you go look at that committee and you look them up and you see who they are, they're people that work at Eurogamer, Kotaku, PC Gaming, Push Square, Push Square Circle, which PlayStation Nation, all sites that we all know are PlayStation centric or Nintendo centric. And then he has maybe one or two people that are like the anomalies, like Phil Spencer, for example, because he's not stupid. He knows Phil is a big deal. He knows Phil is part of Xbox, and he knows Phil is well liked. So if he don't make Phil part of that committee, it's going to look even more obvious. So he's like, no, I'm going to have Phil Spencer in here to make it seem like, yeah, I support Xbox. I love Xbox. Yeah, of course he does. He loves the money and the ease of access that Microsoft provides for him, because he's been using the Microsoft Center for how long? 5 years now, right? He probably plays very little, right? In comparison, if he would do it like, let's say, Madison Square Garden, which he would not be able to pull that off because it'd be way too much money, right? And so Phil, is his homie, so to speak, And the real reality of this whole argument and the real thing that we should be talking about is how Microsoft, I understand they're being professionals and they're just trying to do what's right, because they like to do things in a more scientific corporate type of way, right? Where we make it seem like we're kumbaya, but then they backstab you to the back and do some sinister things, which is smart business, okay? But the real thing that we should be concentrating is that Microsoft should stop being nice to these guys, because they do not need Sony. They don't need Nintendo. The only reason why people say they would need, because they got more popularity, people like them more. No, bull crap. If Microsoft had more of an attitude, right? So like I'm telling you, that the only thing that really should be a point of conversation is Microsoft needs to stop being nice to these people. That's simple. Because to be honest with you, Nintendo and Sony need Microsoft more than Microsoft needs them. Let's be honest. Microsoft killed it. They killed it. When they said, we're going to take this gaming space seriously, and we're going to take it to the next level and actually be point of contenders, right? Because they didn't have no first-party studios except for like 5 maybe. They went and they did their homework and they started buying studios, purchasing the big conglomerates like Bethesda, Cinemax, and also now Activision Blizzard, because they knew once they had all these elements and keys together, they were going to be able to achieve what they needed to do for their ecosystem, for themselves, and what they were doing. Like, for example, grow Game Pass and grow better AAA and AA and single A games. They knew this. They knew this from the very beginning. From the very beginning. From the very, very beginning of them making these acquisitions and moves, what they were going to accomplish and achieve in the gaming space. They knew they were going to go and exceed over everyone else. Okay? Because only with money can you compete at that type of level. To achieve this type of high level quality of game. No one else can do it. No one. Nintendo don't have the purse. Sony don't have the purse. That's why you see Nintendo so adamant in trying out other things like movies. Same thing with Sony now teaming up with them to do a Zelda real life movie. They need to find capital in other spaces. Okay? And how does this all connect, right? And what I was trying to say before is Microsoft does not need them. If Microsoft had the attitude that they're confident enough on their space and their product, and they don't give 2 craps about what anybody else got to say, no one's going to have no choice but to actually support them or follow them if you like them. And if you don't, you just keep it moving. All the haters are just going to have to hate. Sorry about that. And deal with it. Because, listen, you can't beat anyone with power and money. And Microsoft has so much money and power, pretty much do anything they want and anything they need to do to make Xbox a better platform, a better ecosystem, and a better gaming space. You think those people that Jeff Keighley has in that committee and them, they don't know that? They fucking know that. They know that. They know they can't compete anymore. So they use their little space that they have control over, to actually make it seem as if, oh, Microsoft is irrelevant. Because a lot of people tune in to watch it, right? And again, most or not most, real gamers are not sitting in front of the TV worrying about an award. The reason why most people watch it is to see the trailers of the new games that are coming out, the new reveals, and the world premieres. That's really why people watch it. And that's why Microsoft already took it upon themselves last year, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do it again this year, and had a show in January, right, to showcase whatever they wanted to showcase so that they didn't have to rely on the Jeff Keighley Award or the Jeff Keighley Show, because they know how Jeff Keighley is. They're not stupid. So what they do is they use the man to get money off of him because he uses their center, right? Let them think that he's in control, right? And then just do their own thing and then, make a statement and dominate. Because all year long, what you hear people talking about on every channel, every article, every outlet, and on social is about Xbox. You don't barely hear anyone talking about Nintendo or PlayStation. You barely hear that. That's how you know when the real leaders of dominance are dominating. Microsoft is always in the point of conversation every single day. This entire year, the conversation has been about Microsoft. And it all started with Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was the first point of conversation when they did the stealth release, where the gamers got their hands on the game first and not the fucking media, and they had no choice. They could not slander the game because gamers got them in their hands first. They played the game. They said it was fucking awesome, because it is. It's a fantastic game. It's a unique game. It's a polished game, and it actually is a whole lot of fun, right? For all those that haven't played it, I recommend for you to play it, okay? Because me, myself, I haven't played the entire game, but I played enough to know what it has to offer and seen my son beat the game. So I know what it has to offer, right? Now, can that seem hypocritical? Maybe, but I'm just keeping it honest. I'm being real, I'm being transparent. Because I'm very busy and I'm sick a lot of times. I don't have a lot of time to do things. And the little bit of the time that I do have, I try to minimize to do things like watch a movie with my family, or to, do reviews for my figs, or things like that. So, just to give you an idea of why I'm saying what I'm saying. Now, the point is, it started with Hi-Fi Rush, and Hi-Fi Rush is the perfect example of a game that should have been nominated for a Game of the Year contender. It has 20 or 12, I think, or 15 nominations already. So you're going to tell me it has 12 or 15 nominations in all other categories, but it won't get nominated for a Game of the Year? Look, the only reason that the Mario's there and Zelda is because they're Nintendo games, and they're the big flagship games. But the reality is, Zelda didn't do nothing new that the first Zelda didn't do in 3D, right, with the open world space. And Mario is just another Mario with a couple of new functionalities and features to try to save the princess in a 2D platform plane. It's the same game style, right? Now, you have Baldur's Gate in there, because Baldur's Gate was the love letter to undermining Starfield, right? Because it was going to be exclusive to PlayStation only. And at the time, Larian Studios saying it was going to come to Xbox, and so they ran with that. And it was the highest game on Steam, right? And again, am I saying that Baldur's Gate is not a good game? No. But Baldur's Gate is not doing nothing that we've never seen before. It's not something unique. It's not something new with new ideas or fresh. It's not. Okay? Now, when you see something like Alan Wake 2, legitimately, what I've played so far and seen, legitimately deserves to be in the spot. Because although it may be a horror survivor game, it's doing new and unique things within the game. Which I'm not going to spoil, because I'm not spoiling that game. But you would have to play and see for yourself. Okay? But Alan Wake 2 is a beautifully crafted game that is concentrating on gameplay and being fun. Right? In that genre space of survival horror. Now, no one cared about Remedy before, except when they did Max Payne in the PC, because they were only in the PC space. Oh, Max Payne's great games only on PC. Then when it came to consoles, everything started to change. Nobody really talked about it, right? When Max Payne 3 came out, it was one of the greatest games ever as far as the action shooter genre, and yet it wasn't really talked about, right? Nobody really talked about the game, right? So it really didn't sell well. And Rockstar was involved with the game. It had the best graphics, the best story, the best gameplay mechanics. It was an excellent game, right? But it didn't do well, right? Same thing, Alan Wake. Alan Wake was an exclusive. Nobody really cared. Then when it went multi-plat with Control, then people wanted to care. American Nightmare was also excellent DLC. Added extended story. You know what I'm saying? And then now Alan Wake 2. Remedy's never done a bad game. The point is that they deserve to have that spot. But the only reason they have that spot, I'm going to keep it real, I'm going to keep it 100, is because if they were to win, then everybody can do the point of conversation and say, you see, the best thing Remedy could have ever done was disassociate itself with Microsoft, because they would have never had any success. Like if Alan Wake 1 is garbage, when it's not. Alan Wake 1 is one of the best games of that generation and one of the best exclusives of 360. You see? But that's the only reason it's being nominated. Because they did it with Control. But since Control is a smaller game, they couldn't really push it that far. But Alan Wake 2 is a bigger game. So they're trying to push it. So that people will be like, you see? Finally, Remedy is able to spread their wings because they're not associated. You see what I'm saying? And they're not so connected with Xbox. Because that's the only narrative they care. Not because they actually give two craps about Alan Wake or Remedy. Don't let those people in nominations fool you. You guys. It's all been there. The writing's been there for years. And we all know Resident Evil 4 got its time to shine. Resident Evil 4 came out on the GameCube, for Christ's sakes. Okay? That was a game that we played long, long ago. And it had its time to shine. It had its time to be Game of the Year. Okay, it has brand new graphics built from scratch, but it's still, the layout and the levels are still the same worlds. Same thing, same boss battle, same story. Maybe some new added content here and there with cutscenes to add more depth to the story or detail. But at the end of the day, it's still the same game. And it already had one Game of the Year when it was released at the time that it came out for the first time. So it should not be there because it's not doing nothing new. It's not a new game. It's not something that's pushing the envelope forward graphically. Alan Wake 2 is. It looks like a next generational game. Resident Evil 2 looks great, but you can still tell it's within parameters, right? Great, character models, but it's still within the parameters of last gen and this gen. It's like a cross-gen game, you can tell, right? But Alan Wake 2, no. So it's not doing something new, pushing the envelopes graphically, right? And it's not doing new game mechanics or gameplay segments or features that we've never seen before. You see what I'm saying? Alan Wake 2 is. So that's why I said Alan Wake 2 deserves to be there. There's a difference. But I just don't like that the reason why it's there is because they're trying to make it seem as now they're doing better because they're not with Xbox. Because that's the real narrative. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's the real narrative. And come say that I'm being hypocritical or a conspiracy theorist, because we could argue until we turn purple. I know what the deal is. I'm not stupid. I've been saying this since the very beginning, and I've been right the entire time. Since 2013. And no one want to give my credits until, except the people around my circle, obviously, that have been rocking with me. And now you want to act, and people want to act like they're the ones saying things first. When I said this before anybody, and I was being called crazy on Twitter, or being clowned or disrespected, right? And no one had my back, because everybody was afraid to talk because, PlayStation was the thing. PlayStation was the popular console. No, I didn't give two fucks. I was speaking it the way I saw it. But now, because Microsoft has a clout and they're doing better and people are more accepting of Xbox, now people want to act like they have courage. Yeah, I got muscles. Now I'm strong. Now I got courage. Now I want to talk. No, that still makes you a coward because you're weak. If you couldn't say nothing before, then don't say nothing now. You're weak. You're a hypocrite. I don't care what you think. You know who you are. I don't have to say names. You all know who you are. And if you don't like it, then address me. There's DMs. Say what you want to say, and we can discuss it however you want. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we're all grown men, right? Talking about a hobby, right? But I've been calling out the reality of the situation and the bull crap with the bias, the taxing, and the preferences that they've had towards other companies and not Xbox. Okay? I'm the champion here. I don't care what anybody say. I've never swayed my conversation, and I've never changed what I've said. Right? I don't make videos as much anymore because, again, why waste my time if you want to listen to the clowns that don't do nothing but repeat, rinse, and wash what they see and not say what they know from their head knowledge and from their heart because of experience through gaming. That's not me, right? I've been doing this day one. Same thing. Unscripted. I don't write nothing down. I just literally sit in my car, turn on the camera. My wife looked at me like I'm crazy. Like, why you just turn on the camera and didn't say that? Because I don't care. I do it from the hip. It's called being genuine. I don't have to script anything. So if I make a mistake, it's there. I don't give two shits. The point I'm saying that it is now y'all want to act like it's a big deal and you got to call it out. No, it's too late now, because you established Jeff Keighley's position. You let him think that he actually has clout and control. So the man really thinks that by him doing what he's doing something and making a mark, when the reality is most people watch, again, because they look at it as like the Oscars, or like when you would watch the Super Bowl, that they used to give the new trailers and people would watch it just because it had new trailers. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why people watch the gaming awards, for the new reveals, the new trailers. That's the real reason. That's why I watch it. I don't give a shit about Jeff Keighley and his clownery. And to be honest, I think he's a fucking clown, right? And I want to be honest with you. The only year, right, that they actually got it right, that the game of the year was the right game of the year, was, I think it was 2 years ago or last year with It Takes Two. It Takes Two was genuinely a fantastic game, doing unique shit with high quality production, and a lot of love and care went to that game, and you can see it within the game. It comes out through the game. Okay, that man hasn't made a bad game yet. From, A Way Out to Brothers, and then It Takes Two. Every game he's made is fantastic since the 360. And I was the first one to say with my son at the time that Brothers was an amazing game, where you controlled each individual brothers with each individual analog stick. But that's what the Game Award's supposed to be about. That's what the Game of the Year game should be about. Something that came out fresh, unique, doing something new, pushing the envelope, going forward, right? And yes, I do feel that Starfield and Hogwarts Legacy is getting snubbed, because they are games that are pushing the envelope, trying to do new things with existing IPs and a new IP, because Starfield is a new IP. Hogwarts Legacy, although it's an old IP, we never got a Harry Potter game at that level, number one, and at that quality and that level of attention and love and care. They nailed it. And I haven't played the game personally because we didn't buy it, but I've seen plenty of videos and seen a lot of stuff that my brothers E-Rock and, for example, Unlimited talked about, that things they pointed out, and I've seen through the videos, that you can see how well crafted the game was. And it barely had any type of problems, like technical issues, right? So that tells you there that those games were well made, and that they rightfully deserved the spot. And it also was the highest selling game of this year, if I'm not mistaken, more than any other game, right? Now, with Spider-Man 2, that's a blatant joke, and you know right there that it's all rigged. It's all about preference. The people in the committee are people that preference certain things, and Spider-Man 2 absolutely proves it, because not only did the game just come out, it's nothing new. It's a Spider-Man game that's been doing the same exact things, and the little things that they did were done in other games. Oh, you got the wings that you can glide. That was done in fucking Just Cause. That's nothing new. The only difference is you're not playing with a human character. You're playing now with Spider-Man. Then all the the bugs the game had, right? That people are experiencing. All the things that they put in there to pander to the woke community and people that support, the woke agenda and things like that, right? That they snubbed a lot of things, changed a lot of things, and disrespected a lot of the actual lore in favor of their own ideas, which is okay to put your own ideas, but not to the point where you disrespect the material, because it's the way they're doing stuff. Like if Peter Parker is passing the mantle onto Miles, do it in a respectful manner. But no, and the way they did it in the game, or they're doing it in the game, is they're treating Peter Parker like he's a piece of shit white boy or white man, which is stupid, right? Because anybody that follows Peter's character within the world itself, they'll know that Peter was the biggest nerd ever, and always was insecure, wasn't sure of himself. He always helped people when they didn't need it, and then when he helped people, he never was they never showed him gratitude, right? Peter is very self-absorbed, but not in the way of being, how you call it, cocky or conceited. No. Peter is self-absorbed in the sense that he always keeps himself and only loved and stayed around his circle, like his grandmother or his granddad, or Mary Jane, or his one or two friends that he was able to make during high school. You know what I'm saying? He's the nicest white person you're ever going to meet, in other words. But in the game, they made it seem like he's, selfish, like he treats Mary Jane like shit, and he only thinks about himself, when that's bullcrap. You know what I'm saying? Like he's weak, he don't know how to keep a girl, when he tried to throw the shade with fucking Black Cat. And then in every position that he's in, even though he's a veteran expert superhero, like he didn't know how to handle situations and got caught in a position where Miles always has to come and help him, even though Miles is the apprentice that's still learning, and he's supposed to be the veteran. You see what I'm saying? So it don't make no sense. If they were doing it in a respectful way, then that's different. There's nothing wrong with passing the mantle. So what if Miles Morales is black or Puerto Rican? Doesn't matter. It's not about that. It's about the character, or how good he is, or how you fall in love with the character, or his charm, or whatever. So passing the mantle is not the problem. It's how they're doing it, disrespecting Peter and the character of Spider-Man that Stan Lee created many years ago, right? So we all know off the back that that's a joke, okay? Because how are you going to put Spider-Man there, but you won't put something like Hi-Fi Rush? Again, Hi-Fi Rush is 20 million times a better game, and I said it, it's a fact, a better game than Spider-Man. It is. It just is. In every way. From being unique, being new, play mechanics, gameplay, fun factor, how you play the game, the things you do within the game. It has a lot of different mechanics that in Spider-Man you really don't have. It's the same shit over and over. And a lot of cutscenes, a lot of QTs. You barely control half the game that you do. It has over 5 hours of QTs. Or cutscenes, rather. You see what I'm saying? With QTs involved. That are very simplified. You barely do anything. Maybe you move the stick left and right. That's it. So that's the point that you got to understand here in the differences. But again, I said from the very beginning that the Game Awards is a joke. Why do y'all care? Gamers don't care about another opinion, especially from people that don't even show that they play games. Again, Jeff Keighley never showed himself playing games. Why do you care what Jeff Keighley thinks? He's a joke. The guy does it for money. He made it a business because he wanted to make a career, to make money, to make six-figure income, maybe even millions. Probably a millionaire by now. Pretty sure. Why do you care? Fuck him. He's dumb. The more you show that it bothers you, the more power you're giving the clown. That's how I see it. So I refuse to even worry about it. Now, will I call out the BS? Yeah, of course, because I've been doing this since 2013. Before everybody else that wasn't doing it. People wouldn't look at it like, oh no, it's just you're overthinking it. Yeah, you're just making a conspiracy. Oh yeah, you're just a salty Xbox fan. You're just a hater. I'm a hater because I'm calling out the facts of what you're seeing based on their actions and how they do things. I don't give a fuck if Phil Spencer is in the committee. He's there because it works in Jeff Keighley's favor as far as looking good or having a perception, right? He is not there because he actually gives a fuck about Xbox. No, he uses Xbox so that he can use that damn stadium or that damn studio stage that they have, so he don't have to pay a lot of money, or they can back him up and he can present his all bullshit, and then he gets on stage and mocks Xbox indirectly by doing stupid fucking things, favoring his company of choice like PlayStation or Nintendo, and try to act like I'm innocent, or haciéndose el pendejo, as we Spanish people say, acting like a pendejo, like I don't know what you're talking about, and with his little mic, it's excellent year for PlayStation. Oh, dude, fuck him. So he can suck my asshole and I'll fart right in his mouth while he's doing it. Okay? It's that simple. So again, why do y'all care? The Game Awards been rigged, just like Rotten Tomatoes, just like Metacritic. When you can go into Metacritic and say 0 is your score, and then when they say what's the review is, I don't like this game because it's on Xbox. That's not a review. That shows you right there that it's all rigged. We look stupid giving the power and energy to this stupid conversation and stupid topic. Like, again, the reality of this conversation should be, Microsoft, stop being nice to these people. Let them suck your toes, kiss your ass, and come to you and beg. Because you got the upper hand, Microsoft. It's not them, it's you. You have the power in your hand now, because you are the point of contingency and the point of conversation. You're the one that's running the show now, not them. You don't need to be nice and be petty or have pity, because they didn't have pity when they did things to Sega and Atari and Panasonic and NEC and everybody else that tried to come into the industry. They did not care. Nintendo didn't care, and neither did Sony, because Nintendo's not no innocent either. They're the ones who started all that anti-consumer bullshit when they started doing things where game developers could only do games for their platform. They were only allowed to do 5 games a year, and if they went to any other platform, they got sued or some shit. You know, it's some other bullshit. They're the ones who started it. It was Nintendo. And then Sony came and tried to do what Nintendo did to everybody else to them, and then Nintendo did it back to them and made them look stupid. Then Sony tried to do it. The only one that came in the industry trying to be, innovative and even be more about the gaming community was Sega. But then when Sega got offered some opportunities, right, like doing some partnerships with, let's say, Nintendo or with even Sony, they were like, no. But I think it was more because Sega knew they had more talent and they were more capable of moving the industry forward than to teaming up with Nintendo and Sony. They knew that Nintendo and Sony wasn't going to do anything to help evolve gaming or teach them anything, in other words, or give them better quality experiences to offer. Sega knew that they didn't need them. And I believe wholeheartedly that's why Sega said, no, we're okay, we don't want to do the deal. What killed Sega was trying to innovate so much, so fast, giving too much offering to the fan base at once or back to back, and it scared the people because it got expensive with having the Sega CD, the 32X, and then a couple years later following that, then they got, the Saturn, all back to back, the Sega CD being 300, the 32X being 180, and then the Saturn being 400, that people got turned off and they got afraid because at that time, though, nobody paid that type of money for video games. It's now that we pay $500 and for consoles are $400, and it's like we're crying because it's too expensive when inflation and hardware and all that stuff have grown and the expenses have grown. Technology has advanced so much that it's way more expensive. So we shouldn't cry because it comes with the territory. It makes sense. But we still do, right? So that's the biggest difference. Right? Of course. Sega hurt themselves in a lot of ways, but then they got backstabbed and betrayed, obviously, and then mudslinged by Sony and Nintendo, specifically Sony, where they had money, didn't respect them, and screwed them over to the point where they had no choice but to get out because they didn't have enough money to fight back. That's basically it. But it was because they were innovating way too fast. They were the ones who did the first VR, the first motion control, the first real, 3D at home on a console. They were the first ones to do it. It was Sega, all Sega. The rolling pad, the 8-directional pad, the D-pad, a bunch of stuff. Backwards compatibility the right way for a cheap price. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about it because I know that probably when I get onto anybody's show, like the Unlimited show or Sega Man show, and big shout outs to them. They did videos on some of these stuff so far. Go check them out, please, because they do great content, especially on 100 did a nice video real quick too. Go check him out. Big shout outs to him, and happy birthday to you, 100. I didn't know it was your birthday. My bad, my brother. Please forgive me. But I know that I won't be able to speak as detailed and as long-winded, right, if you will, as I do in my own videos, which I have the ability the ability and the liberty to do so because it's my video, right? And maybe you guys want to hear what I have to say, my opinion and thoughts in a lot more detail. So I hope I conveyed that with this video, because I'm pretty sure that my wife and my daughter absolutely think so, because they usually see me do them and they'll be like, damn, you done? So shout outs to my wife and my daughter, by the way. So again, guys, I'm going to let you with the final thoughts. And listen, just play games, man. Don't worry about Starfield not being nominated. Don't worry about Hi-Fi Rush not being nominated. The point of the matter is, we got Hi-Fi Rush, we got Forza, we got Starfield, and other stuff that I can't even remember right now. All in 1 year. We had a fantastic year. And real quick, another thing is, I really hate how everybody tries to act like the only games that matter are big AAA games. This year, we've had so many smaller indie games that were absolutely phenomenal and fantastic. And they were not even in a point of conversation for the VGAs or, the Video Game Award, which is sad. Very sad. Because a lot of these independent developers are trying to grow and get into the business, that are very ambitious and have a lot of great ideas that could be the next big thing, like a Bungie or like a Coalition or like a Naughty Dog, for example. And they have to start from somewhere. And the fact that us as gamers just don't acknowledge it, leave it to the side, and ignore it is fucked up. There's no other way to say it. It's fucked up. Because they work hard and put a lot of effort into these games. And they want to be recognized. And it's a shame that only a few people like myself that loves to follow the indie space as well, and the indie gamer, shout outs to him that he always talks about it, that he did a great video not too long ago, an interview with the guys who are doing the Spirit of Ninja, of the Samurai. No, Spirit of the Samurai. That's coming out next year, I believe. And nobody talks about it. Like, it's a shame that the Video Game Awards only panders also to just big AAA games or AA games. The Video Game Awards should be about all the games that year. Small, big, doesn't matter. A good game is a good game. Doesn't matter the size of the budget. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like the video. Share this video with somebody you think might enjoy it as well. As always, thank you for all of you who continue to support me, because without you, this channel will still not be sustained. And if you, have anything to say that counterintuitive with what I said, please leave it in the comment below. We can establish a conversation. We can establish a debate. Doesn't matter. I'm more than willing to do so. It's all great for gaming conversation. So guys, this is your boy Hebot. I'm going to sign off for today. Have a blessed day. Thumbs up. Love you guys. Thank you for taking the time. I know this video is going to be kind of long, but I hope you stay to the end and enjoy it. And if you did, like I said, thank you, because I know you didn't have to, but it means the world to me, and I feel truly blessed, and I'm truly humbled because you guys make it all worthwhile. All right? So I'll see you then soon. Peace out. You can find me on any social media outlet. It's all down in the description below. Just follow me there, and we can talk, and just give me a DM if you want to talk more one-on-one or more privately. See you guys then. Peace.